Okay, let's move to the next report. Nikki, can you come up for capital program, please?
Kia ora koutou katoa. Good morning. So to brief, as at the end of quarter 3, 64% of the overall capital program budget is spent, so that's up 57% from February. March actuals, 474.2 million, are 36.5 million ahead of the same point last year. So that's showing a positive year-end momentum. And then year-end forecast result is 93%, so we're down 96% in February based on refined delivery forecasts. I want to take you on a little journey with what we're doing now. So the PMO forecast is now sitting at 500 million. The opening PM forecast for the capital for FY25 was 550.6 million, and our PMO forecast was sitting at 510 million. And those figures are from August 2024. But now our current PMO forecast is 500 million for the Christchurch City Council capital, and it's higher than the project manager's consolidated forecast of 488.7 million. This reflects our observations as a team. We've worked hard and gone through and analysed, as we always do, throughout the year. And this reflects our observations from the previous 2 financial years relating to the under-forecasting of the June period. So in both years, the year-end expenditure exceeded project manager Q4 forecasts. FY23, the year-end expenditure in our CCC capital exceeded financial PM forecasts by 47 million, and in the 24 year, it exceeded by 20. So the key reasons for June expenditure exceeding forecast include the following. So the year-end capitalisation of costs that were previously charged to OPEX, difficulties in predicting the time of large payments, so like cost shares, land purchases, contract payments, and some projects not adequately accounting for accruals in June, where both May and the June invoices get paid at the same time. So this analysis indicates that the current PM forecast for FY25 may still be exceeded at year end, and this is reflected in our PMO forecast of 500 million. Further analysis on historical trends also supports the year end FY25 forecast of between 495 and 510 million. So there's 2 reasons. The CCC capitals, there's an average of 35% of expenditure historically occurs within quarter 4. And applying this logic to our FY25 based on the end of Q3 results gives our year-end forecast a gain of approximately 498 million. And stepping through the deliverability workshop that happened yesterday that Paul took you through, and going through that phase logic applied to this as well, that gives us FY25 year start budget result of approximately 510, so that's why we're saying it's in with that range, and we're standing at the PMO at 500 million. Can take any questions.
Great, thank you for sort of setting the scene on that. That's really useful. Does anyone have specific questions on the capital program? Mark?
Yeah, this is probably for Lynette more than Nikki. Just a query around the Hallsville Junction Road extension. I notice in the report that it's showing its opening on the 17th to 22nd of May, which has caught us by surprise. It's good to hear it's opening. Is that in fact a correct date?
The block line is booked for early May and the work should be done, and they are working to those dates. The risk of those dates not being hit is now lowering as we get closer to it. So there is still a risk that it will be met, but that is the date they're working to. Yeah.
Excellent.
And with QRail.
Very good. With that project, is there likely to be any opening of the crossing?
I'll have to come back to you on that.
Well, Mike Moore has asked to get his scissors out, so.
I'll have to come back to you on that one.
Thank you.
Great.
And one more question
sure.
around the South Express. Just wondering for some clarification around timing on that. I noticed there's mention there of the Parker Street crossing with Kiwi Rail being delayed, and seems to suggest that there's no definite time frame around that now, and it's pretty much up in the air.
We don't have a definite time frame on the Parker Street crossing at this stage, but the rest of the route is continuing as planned.
Very good. So we should see the Templeton stretch starting later this year, I guess, is it?
Yep, that's the plan.
Thank you.
I've got Victoria, then Tyrone, then Yanni.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Yep, my question is in relation to the major cycleway Northern Line route, the railway crossings, which is on page 183 of our agenda. I note that our financial status is within budget and our time status, the works are actually completed. Just clarification, we've still got it sitting at risk. Is that simply because we're waiting for Kiwi Rail to commission the timing and the turning on of the signals? Because everything else is done and within budget.
It is to do with Kiwi Rail. Lynette?
I agree with the councillor. Everything else is green and go, but yes, we are waiting on Kiwi Rail to finalise the signals, which is planned soon. The issue with the signals there is that they all need to be linked together, so they'll all be unbagged at the same time. So,
thank you, Mr Chair. And thanks, Nikki, for all the work you've done on this. It's really, really good and comprehensive. So the forecast is about 60 odd million short of the budget. Do we have a sense of the things in the next annual plan that are already going to be impacted by the things that we're not going to deliver on in this financial year? So we're 60 million short, so that's 60 million or maybe 50, whatever, a number that's going to be carried forward into the next annual plan. So that's going to push 50 million out, presumably, or 40 million or whatever. Do we have is the work already going on as to what that bow wave is going to look like?
Absolutely. Paul, did you want to give an update on that one? Is that Lynette Nell?
The key information for that's at the bottom of each of the sections. So like on the bottom of page 167, for example, is one of them. So those little tables at the bottom of each of those sections there show you the top 5 projects that are going slower than we anticipated, which is on the left side, and the ones on the right are the ones that are going faster. So that's the top 5 looking like underspends for the year, and the top 5 overspends for the year, which is bringbacks and the carry forwards, effectively what they will be, those projects.
Okay, thank you. Some of those projects won't flow into next year, though.
No, some of them will, and the objective is we'll still be looking for a net nil impact to 26 with the carry forwards. So looking to net off the carry forwards and bringbacks to get it to net 0 in 26. So the impact is more likely to be 27 and forward.
Okay, thank you. No, cool. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Has the Sawyers Arms crossing been done?
Sawyers Arm Road rail crossing.
Yeah.
Councillor? Yes.
Okay. And I'm just wondering, like, where we got to with Kiwi Rail around a discussion around all these projects, the costs, and the constant delays. Like, is there any? I can't quite recall. We've had so many previous resolutions around meeting with ministers or writing to ministers, meeting with the board. Individuals have met with some of the Kiwi Rail staff. Is there a kind of a time and point where we can get an overview of where things have got to? Because I also note yesterday in our briefing we were going to defer Scrutton's Road again out for another 2 years. And when we tried to do that or tried to reduce it in the annual plan, we were told no, it was risky. So I'm just trying to understand, like, what's the relationship with Kiwi Rail like at the moment, and how do we at a governance level get a sense of what are the different pressure points that we have and how they're being addressed?
Councillor, I certainly understand the challenges with understanding what's going on with 2 different programs and 2 different organisations. So I suggest as staff we'll provide you a written update that'll come through the office's CE system. But I can say from a staff perspective, we're working closely with them and we're working hard to try and find solutions.
The solutions seem to be that our projects keep getting delayed and we keep spending more and more money that we don't, that we can seldom afford.
Within the resource capacity that both of each organisation has, we are doing the best we can, but we are working closely with staff. but I'll give you an update on progress and where we're at with all the projects in a written.
Could we perhaps consider setting up a joint governance working group with Kiwi Rail to kind of progress it?
Can we get the advice back first, and then we can have a discussion as a group?
Okay.
Yeah, but let's get it all into one thing so that we're really clear on where it's at right now, and then potentially some recommendations on what needs to improve to go forward, and let's go from there. And we'll feed that in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to ask, on terms of Pages Road Bridge, is there anything we can do to, what can we do to get it off the critical phase? Like, it's an important project to the community, and it's red. Again, do we need to be politically lobbying government around making decisions on it or funding it further? What could we do to support the Pages Road Bridge getting off critical status and getting back on track?
Through the chair, I think council's done a lot to lift it. You've listed it as your number one project from a transport perspective. It was listed in and lifted up in the RLTP priorities. We are working with NZTA to push through a business case which is aiming to get to the August NZTA board meeting. That is all on track to get there. The business case from an NZTA perspective is reasonably streamlined and has used their new processes. Once we've got it through the board, we will be push and go fast. But that's the sort of go no go point from a funding perspective.
Are you able just to clarify, in the baseline June 2028, we're now forecasting April 2030?
Can you tell me page number,
just
please?
On page 180. Once Kiwi Rail makes their decision, is there any chance we can get back to that June 28 baseline?
I'm sorry, Councillor Kiwi Rail.
NZTA. Sorry, NZTA. Apologies.
Once NZTA makes a decision on the funding in the funding envelope, we will then be into the consenting phase and the procurement phase for the design and consenting of the bridge.
Right.
So once we get through that phase and once we've got tenders awarded, this was further to discussion that we had yesterday, until we get into a phase where we've got tenders awarded, we actually can't put as much certainty on the timelines. But we will be doing everything we can to bring the timelines back.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Celeste.
This just a follow up to the Pages Road stuff. Can I just check? Has the business case been submitted yet? I know it was sort of May is the.
It's just about finalised and due to be submitted. It's going to an internal. It's going to an internal NZTA committee, late May, early June.
Cool, thank you.
And then to an August.
And with regards to the request, it was actually more probably through the chair for the mayor. There was a request sent through around fast track. I know that we put one through initially. It was separated out from the OARC project, which I'm not quite clear on why that happened because they were supposed to be bundled together. But it was put through separately and it was declined. But it's open again for submissions. Are we looking at resubmitting it?
Be an organisational response, not the mayor.
I believe there's been advice back on that through the Office of the CE, and that was we can submit it at any time. I'd have to go back. I'll resend the advice that was sent on that.
We'll get it circulated.
Yeah, it might be helpful to get that. Are we able to get something in public around that? Because I think there's interest.
Yeah,
and
it was public advice.
I think there'd be an appetite to use fast track, so we should.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay. Right, so we're good. The mayor's happy to move it. Mel's happy to second it. All in favour?
Oh, sorry, Sam.
Oh.
All good.
Oh, that's carried. Thanks, Tyler. Now I'm just going to bring VO forward. So sorry, Barry, you might just have to